So we will discuss about this sampling, and then we will discuss about hypothesis, and then we will discuss about variables, and we will also cover reliability and validity. Okay, so from this, one question is actually sure, and from chapter 3 one question is for sure. It is mostly coming from here also. So if you are lucky, you will get 2 questions also from this particular chapter. Maybe from sampling or hypothesis, reliability, validity, questions can be asked, but these 3 are always short notes, like 10 markers you can get, and from sampling you can get a long question. Okay, so what do you mean by sampling? Otherwise, in general, sampling is basically selecting a suitable sample, right, or a representative part from a populations. For example, if you need to study a big phenomena having huge size, like you need to study so much of population with respect to any particular criteria or whatever it is, you cannot study each and every population, right? So what you will do is you will select a particular group from this particular this. So this is a sample, right? So like it's like you are how will you see the rice is boiled or not? You will take some portion and you will see whether it is boiled or not, right? So exactly like that, if you need to study the entire population, sometimes it may not be possible to go and study each and every population, right? Entire people. So you take a portion, representative part. So this will be the representative part. Maybe in a particular geographical area, you will take some people, or from a particular caste, you may take some people, or from a particular religion, you take some people, okay, or maybe from a particular institution, you take some group. So this is what you mean by sample. So sampling means rather than studying the entire population, you will study the representative part of the population. Okay, for the purpose of determining certain parameters or characteristics of the whole population. So rather than studying the whole population, you will study the representative part. So that may be small portion. So that is what sampling. There are different types of sampling, probability sampling and non-probability sampling. So when it comes to probability sampling, so this is one of the most important sampling, because here every member in this population that we have discussed, every member is actually having equal probability of getting selected. Any member can be a part of the sample. Okay, so probability sampling means each and every member is actually having the same probability of getting selected. In case of non-probability sampling, that is not the case. So that's the fundamental difference between probability and non-probability sampling. So these are the main 2 types of sampling, probability and non-probability sampling. Now I have written everything in the PDF. So apart from that, you can add this person, Black and Champion. So according to them, the probability sampling actually require some condition. The conditions are the complete list of subjects to be studied must be available. So entire population which you are going to study, for example, if you are going to study a particular institution, college, or whatever it is, if you need to study the case of alcoholism or smoking or whatever it is, in a particular college or institution you are going to conduct the study, complete population list should be available. Okay, so it has to be specified, because everybody is actually having the equal probability of getting selected. So that is the most important part in the probability sampling. So here you can see sampling. This is the definition. Sampling is the process of selection of limited number of items from a larger whole or universe. Universe means when you are conducting that particular study, the entire population is what you consider as universe of item. A sample is a smaller representation of larger population. Okay, so population or universe, this means those people with the characteristics which the researcher want to study. So you will see this words, population or universe, that means the entire group of people that you are supposed to study. When the population is relatively large and is physically not accessible, researchers survey only a sample. You cannot go and study each and every individual, so you go for the sample. Okay, there are 2 types, probability sampling and non-probability sampling. Okay, so these are the main 2 types of sampling. So there is another definition which is given by a thinker I have added here, Henry Mahim. Sample is a part of population which is studied in order to make inferences about the whole population. So that is one definition. You just need to write what we have discussed before. It is a representative part instead of studying the whole population. Now, types of sampling, in that probability sampling is one in which every unit of the population has an equal probability of being selected for the sampling. It offers a high degree of representativeness. So every member in that group having equal probability of getting selected. Now there are different types of probability sampling, like lottery or simple random sampling. So this is the highest, here you can see highest degree of randomness, and it is a hence, and it is basically a true probability sampling, because high degree of, it is like lottery method. In this class itself we have around 60-70 people, so I will randomly select people, right? So that is what this simple random sampling or lottery method. Different other methods are also there, but you can say lottery method. This is the best way to explain. Stratified random sampling means, for example, in this class itself, if we see, what I will do is, let's say we have, see, it's related to strata. You see this word, you can understand this. You will be classified into different strata. It can be on the basis of age. I can say less than 24, and then 24 to 28, and then 28 to 30. Like this I can actually, okay, so we will consider in different strata. So you understood what is stratified random sampling. Stratified random sampling means we will try to understand the different strata or classify into different strata. It could be simply female, male, or it can be based on age, okay, like up to 23 one group, and 24 to 28 another group, and 28, more than 28 another group. Like that I can classify in this class itself, and then from here I can take a sample, from here I can take a sample, and from here I can take a sample. But in case of simple random sampling, the first one that I have told you is from the entire population you take the representative. But here the entire population, what you will do, you divide into 3, right, like this. So what is the main difference from the first one and this one? This is the entire class. So from the entire class, like randomly you take some population. That's what absolute randomness is there. The highest degree of randomness is there. So in the second category, what I'll do is, I will try to find a homogeneous group. Okay, this is one homogeneous group, and this is another homogeneous group. This is another homogeneous group. So after dividing, and again then I will apply simple random sampling from each group, like this. I will select a population from here. That means from different groups I will take the representatives. In the first case, from the whole population, I will take a small sample. In the second case, from the whole population, I will divide into 3, and from here I will take a sample, from here I will take a sample, and from here also I will take a sample. Okay, I'll just read it out. Stratified random sampling. This is a form of sampling in which total population is divided into number of strata, and sample is drawn from each strata. It is defined as the method of dividing population into homogeneous strata, like on the basis of age or on the basis of sex, right? So I'll get 2 homogeneous strata if it is on the basis of sex, and here itself I have told you on the basis of age I have divided into 3 homogeneous strata, and then selecting simple random samples from each strata. So then the first sampling that we have discussed will be applied. This type of sampling is used when the researcher want to highlight specific subgroups. So here I am creating subgroups within the population. Researchers also use stratified random sampling when they want to observe relationship between 2 or more subgroups. Some of the most common strata used in the stratified random sampling: age, gender, religion. We can do that here also, in this class also. Educational attainment, socio-economic status means upper class, middle class, lower class, etc. And even to that extent caste also. Nationality, that is not applicable in this context, but all these can be applied as different stratification. Okay, for example, a fertility rate of women is stratified on the basis of age. Okay, then advantages, disadvantages that you can see. Third one, systematic or interval sampling. So here what will happen is, in case of systematic sampling, first step is randomly you will take one. Okay, so randomly you take the first respondent here, randomly select the first respondent, and then you will do is, after getting the first respondent, then you will say every nth person you will select. For example, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, like this members are there. So randomly I choose one from this. Let's say I am choosing this, and now I will say every fifth member I will select. Okay, so from here every fifth, so 1 2 3 4 5 this, and then 13, then 18, then 23rd, then 28. Okay, so here the absolute randomness is not there because you are specifying this, but still the first is selected randomly, then you cannot say absolute randomness is there. I hope this is clear. So it is firstly specified that I am going to select the nth member. Okay, so let's say it could be the 10th member. Every 10th member I'll select. But the first one here will be done randomly. That means if you are selecting 2, then next will be 12. If it is 10th, then 22, 32, 42, 52, like that it will go. If you are selecting the first as 5, then 15, 25, 35, 45, like that it will go. Are you okay with this? So first one, what I'm saying is, first one, simple random sampling. So from the whole population, you will simply select a sample. It doesn't matter what is the age, it doesn't matter what is the socio-economic condition, it doesn't matter what is the sex, it doesn't matter class or anything. You simply select a particular small group from this. That is a simple random sampling. Okay. In the second case, what you do is, you make a homogeneous group within the population. It can be based on anything. And then you will select a sample from here, sample from here, sample from here. In the third case, first respondent you select randomly, only the first respondent, and then you will say every fifth, okay, or every 10th. That means every nth person you will select. So that is what systematic or interval sampling. Why it is called interval? Because you will get every fifth or 10th, like that. This sample is based upon the collection of elements by drawing every nth person from a predetermined list of persons. In other words, it is randomly selecting the first respondent and then every nth person from the list. N is a number which is termed as sampling interval. Okay. In this, absolute randomness is not there. Why? Because it is selected on the basis of some predetermined criterion. What is that? This is actually predetermined. For example, every 10th member of a population may be picked for sampling exercise. Okay, so in that context, the first will be randomly selected, let's say 5th person, and then 15, then 25, then 35, then 45, like this it will go. What do you mean by cluster sampling? It is also similar to stratified in a different way. So here you will be making a cluster. For example, that is not similar to homogeneous group. For example, that particular area you will make it into different cluster, like this. Okay, and from each area you will select a sample. Now understand, this is not based on any particular criteria, but in case of stratification you are dividing on the basis of age or sex or something like that, right? So in case of stratified sampling, what was the case? You will get a homogenized group, from that you take a sample. But here, this cluster if you take, can I say it will be homogeneous group? It will not be a homogenized group. Every type of population will be there. So here within the structure, this cluster, if you see, different types of population will be there. Heterogeneous population will be there. So from it is first bigger population. If you are simply selecting a sample from this, that is simple random sampling. What you are doing is you are making into clusters, and then from the cluster you will take the simple random sampling. But here what you will do is you are selecting the representative within again a heterogeneous group only. Okay, that is the main difference between stratified and cluster sampling. Some of you might have some confusion. In case of stratified, what you are doing, you are stratifying or classifying on the basis of certain criteria. But in case of cluster, you make it into different clusters, and within cluster there will be heterogeneous groups. But in case of strata, there will be homogeneous group. Okay, so this sampling implies dividing population into clusters and drawing random sample either from all the clusters or selected clusters. So first you will divide into cluster, then the first sampling itself, random sample. But in case of stratified, the whole population, you will make stratification. So don't confuse it as cluster, okay, or simply I'll make two so that it will be easy. Female, male. So what is here? This is a homogeneous group. This is also a homogeneous group. On the basis of sex, that is homogeneous. But in case of cluster, if I divide like this, in this cluster also female and male will be there. So this is a heterogeneous group. Okay. So here heterogeneous group, you will take a sample. Here homogeneous group, you will take a sample. From both it will be taken.
Sir, then there will be no difference between cluster sampling and lottery sampling, because in both cases heterogeneous population will be there.
No. The main difference is in case of cluster sampling and in case of normal sampling, you may select population from, let's say, this area and this group. That is also considered a sample. But in case of cluster sampling, you will divide like this, right? And then you take from here and here and here and here and here. That will be entirely different. It's almost like saying that, let's suppose this is India. So you want to study about India. You are selecting people from only Kerala, and you are talking about the educational betterment of Indians. Do you think that it will give you the correct representation?
No, sir.
No. That in that context you need to go for cluster sampling. So this is eastern part of India, this is north, this is south, this is west, and this is center. So from each area you have to select.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, you just gave an example of Kerala in the last example. Right. But sir, isn't geography-based, like area-based sampling, isn't Kerala a homogeneous mixture rather than a heterogeneous one? Because you said cluster has to be heterogeneous and not homogeneous.
No, it is not necessary the cluster has to be heterogeneous. Cluster mostly it will be heterogeneous. In Kerala also it is heterogeneous population. That is just an example which I have given for the cluster. But in Kerala it is totally heterogeneous only, it is not homogeneous. Then there is one more, that is multi-stage. In that there will be different stages, but only the last sample will be studied. For example, if you need to study the panchayat system in village of India, so what you will do, you will divide first into 4 zones, right? So like this you will divide, or you will divide into north, east, west, south, and maybe central. So we divide into 4 zones, and then you select maybe one state from each zone. From here one state, from here one state, from here one state, and then from here also one state. For example, from the north you may select Punjab, okay. From west you will select Maharashtra, and then from east you can select some states, and from south also you will select maybe Tamil Nadu, Kerala, or any state. So after this what you will do, again you will select one block, okay, or you will select a district from all these states. From Punjab you will select one district, and from here also one district, and from here also one district, and from here also one district. And again you will go at different stage, that you will select a block from here after selecting the district, and then from each block you may select like 3 villages, okay, and then you will study that villages you will study. There you will go for it. So different stages are there, but finally the study will be here in these 3 villages. So that is what multi-stage sampling. So here you can see sampling in each stage will be actually random, like which state will be selected, that is random, which district will be selected, that is also random, which block will be selected, that is random, which village will be selected, that is also random. That's why we are saying this is also probability sampling. So different stages are there, but at the end only, you will be conducting the investigation and you will make the inference. Yes. So I'll repeat what all things we have discussed is sampling means it is a representative part you will study. You will not study the complete population or complete universe. So you will select the representative. It can be simple random sampling, like from the entire population you will select a portion, or it can be stratified. You will make it into homogeneous group and then you will choose one from here, or it can be cluster sampling. You will make it into cluster and from each you can select, right? Or it can be systematic, so you'll select the first person and then every nth person. So first person, let's say I'm selecting the third one, and then I'm saying 10th, every 10th means it will automatically become 13, then 23, 33, 43, 53, like that it will be fixed. So these are the 4 main probability sampling. Multi-stage is also there, that I've just told you, right? There is also multi-stage sampling, in which first clusters are selected, then simple random sampling is followed, but I haven't written here completely what I've told you. So first there will be clusters, then simple random sampling is followed, but before that, why multi-stage is because there are different stages, right? I hope you understood, so you can add what all things you understood in this. So that part is actually missing here. So what you can do is one example what I've told you, that you can add in your answer, or you can update that example here. Otherwise it is the same thing, only we are following the simple random sampling, right? First you make the cluster, right? How you make the cluster? North, east, west, south. So you actually made the cluster, and then you follow the simple random sampling. How? First you select the state, then again from state you follow the simple random sampling. How? You select the district, and again simple random sampling, you select the block, and then again you will select the village panchayats. Okay, so like that, this is actually different stage, but the final stage is what actually more important. Next is non-probability sampling. So non-probability sampling is actually very easy, because here first thing is that it is opposite to, somebody's mic is on please, it is opposite to probability sampling. So here everybody do not have equal probability of getting selected. Okay, so in many research situations, particularly those where there is no list of persons to be studied, it may not be available to you. Probability sampling is difficult and not appropriate to use. In such cases, non-probability sampling is the most appropriate method. For example, consumers of a particular type of detergent powder, right? So what is this example talking about? You don't know the population, you don't know how many people are using this, right? You don't know what type of people are using it. Okay, the people from upper class, lower class, middle class may be using, okay, and you don't know the number of population. Okay, so you don't know anything, you don't know the group that you need to study. So in this context, you will go for different methods. We will see what are the non-probability sampling methods. First one, this name itself will tell you, there is no need to explain. Convenience sampling. What do you think it will be? So it is like based on the convenience. Okay, the researcher studies all those persons who are most conveniently available to him, who accidentally comes to his contact during his research. It is also known as accidental sampling, because you are getting it accidentally also. Okay, for example, you are talking about, or you are studying about domestic violence. So what you will do, you will study those people who are neighbors who are facing this problem first, because they are conveniently available to you. So you will go ask them and you will study them. Or when you travel in a train or somewhere, you come across some people, they also can give you some information. That is what accidental sampling. So it's all based on the convenience. Like if you want to study university students, so what you will do, you will go to the canteen, you will go to the library and maybe some departments, playgrounds, okay, and interview certain number of students. So these are conveniently available to you. Okay, so what is the advantage? In this case, it is very quick and economical, but maybe very biased sample. You may not get exactly the correct information, and that is obviously there with almost all the sample.
So still this is sampling. How we can say that this is not sampling?
This is sampling. I am not saying it is not sampling.
No, I mean, sir, this is how we can say that it's non-probability kind of sampling.
No, it is because you don't know what you need to study, right? What group you need to study. In the probability sampling, you actually have a population. So among this only we are going to study. But here you don't know how many people in the world is facing domestic violence. You actually don't know what population, you only know I am going to study domestic violence. So you don't know the population, how you know to which people you are going to ask? If you know the size of the population, then only you can select a sample. No, but you don't know. You got me? You don't know in this case, or how many people consume alcohol, you don't know. So whoever is conveniently available to you, you will go and ask them.
Sir, even in case of sampling, if I want to find out how many people in the society are drinking, so even in that case, I will reach out to limited number of people.
No, how many people are drinking, that is a different question. So there you actually have the population size. If let's suppose you need to know how many people in Kerala are drinking, what is your population? The entire population of Kerala. But here in this context, why you are drinking?
Okay.
Why you are drinking? So you cannot go and ask to everyone. You need to ask to only those people who are drinking.
Yes.
So do you know how many are drinking or who all are drinking? No. So I will ask to a person who is conveniently available to me. If my neighbor is drinking, I will go and ask why you are drinking.
Okay.
You got me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because here one thing that you need to understand is in the probability sampling, the size is very clear to you. The population that you need to study is very clear to you. So how many are drinking is okay, that is easy. But why you are drinking, that is very difficult. That is a different reason. That is the reason.
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay. Purposive sampling or judgmental sampling. In the sampling, the researcher deliberately selects certain units for studying from the universe. For example, interviewing beggars. So in the sampling process is already there in the mind of the researcher and sample characteristics are predefined. For example, male population. So it is purposive sampling, already it is predefined and you will go and select this particular group. Okay. So then two classification of this is quota sampling and snowball sampling. So quota sampling means this is a version of stratified sampling with the difference that instead of dividing the population into strata and randomly choosing the respondents, it works on quotas fixed by researcher. So in the previous case when we have discussed about stratified sampling, it was divided on the basis of strata. So here the researcher will fix a quota. For example, 50 MBA students need to be surveyed, okay, from 150 students of 5 institutions. So the quota will be fixed from one institution 10, other 10, other 10, other 10. Like this the quota will be fixed and you will be filling that quota. So that is what you mean by quota sampling. Then there are two types, primarily proportional quota, non-proportional quota sampling. So that's not important, you just need to write what is quota sampling. Here the researcher will fix a quota and he will select that many number from, let's suppose here I will fix a quota from north, I will go for 50 members, from south 50 members, from west 50 members and from east 50 members. Okay, and maybe the study related to education or healthcare or whatever it is. So this quota will be fixed. That is what quota sampling. Snowball sampling, researcher begin with a few respondents. It's like this only, referral principle. You will start with the person who's available to you. So A is available to you. So you may be studying about alcoholism or domestic violence. So you know that A is facing the problem with this particular issue, that is domestic violence. So first you will go for A and then you will go for the investigation, and from A you will get the referral, that is B. Okay, and then you will go to B and then you will go to C from the referral of B, and then from C you will go to D. So this is what snowball sampling. So here only thing is this, investigator will start with a person who is known to him, A. Then he will get referral from A, will go to B. Then B to C, referral from B. Like that it will go. Okay. So researcher begin with a few respondents who are known and available to him. Subsequently, these respondents give other names and who in turn give more new names. It works on referral principle. Okay, for example, in a survey of drug addicts, one drug addict may lead to information about the others too. Now volunteer sampling as its name indicate, people will come voluntarily and will give you information. There's a technique in which the respondent himself volunteers to give information he holds. Whatever information he have, he will come and give it to you. Yeah. Any doubts there? See, mainly we have discussed about probability sampling, non-probability sampling. Probability sampling means, as its name indicate, equal probability of everyone to get selected. Non-probability sampling, equal probability is not there. And which one is better? This one is better. So there is a limitation for this. If you know the entire population that you're going to study, then you can go for this. But if you don't know the population that you need to study, then you have to go for this. So here, simple random sampling, that is simply lottery method. From this group, you will select a sample. Or stratified random sampling, you will make it into strata and then you will select. Cluster sampling, you will make it into cluster and you will select. Systematic, you will select the nth person. Then multi-stage. Here also, we have discussed. Okay, so that's about sampling. There is a potential question, lengthy question can be asked, long answer can be asked. So you just need to write what is the definition. Sampling is identifying or studying the representative part instead of studying the whole population. Okay, this representative part should be showing the characteristics which should have been shown by the entire population. So there are different types of sampling. So if you are saying it is the representative, it is not necessarily the case that every sampling will give exact representation, right? In case of that educational status in India, if you go for all these examples you can write. If you go for simple random sampling, you may select only from eastern part of India or central part of India or southern part of India. This will not give you the actual understanding. It is not necessarily the exact representative. So in this context, you can go for cluster sampling. Like that, you can say the advantage, disadvantage, everything is written in the PDF. You go through one reading of the PDF. In case if you have any doubt, we will discuss further. So that's about sampling, a very important topic, but very easy topic. There is nothing to understand here. Whatever is written, just study, go rewrite the same thing.